Looking at the Markets with David Modell.
Welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Modell. I've got a return guest today, a very special return guest. He is Mr. Prasad Hura, and he is from Pava Mamran Capital, and I'm a part of this company as an advisor and co-founder of Pava Mamran Capital. And man, we're making big moves, and the crypto world is making big moves. And Prasad Hura is with us to talk about these pressing issues. We're going to talk about, you're going to want to watch this whole video. We're going to talk about EOS. We're going to talk about market manipulation, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin options. These are huge issues. So Prasad, thank you so much for coming on my program again.
Hey David, thanks very much. My pleasure.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Last time you came on, we had lots of wonderful comments on the YouTube video. And folks, I want you to comment below on this video. Tell us what you think. What do you want to hear about? What's your reaction to what's going on? So Prasad, let's talk about EOS and follow up to your explosive revelations on why EOS is not decentralized. We talked about that last time. What do you have for us today?
Well, David, just as we're talking, I just got a notification, the MIT Tech Review just came out that the EOS is, $4 billion crypto democracy has just launched, and it's probably going to be launched by fat cats. It's not me saying this, is the MIT Tech Review just saying that. The point here is that what I fear, David, is that we are going to see a BitConnect levels of, blind trust and that kind of levels of, a scam going on EOS side. I'll tell you why. If you just take a look at, the document that I sent you, we can maybe put a link up there in the bottom. Okay. That document just shows basically that EOS 3 years from now will have the power to take control of anyone's, let's say I hold 10,000 tokens of EOS. Mm-hmm. They can take it out and they can auction it off whenever they want after 3 years. Mm-hmm. And that decision would be made by the consensus. And guess what? It is ruled by the fat cats, as the MIT Tech Review says.
Wow. Okay. I always look for the manipulation going on. You can see it. You're seeing...
I'll tell you, David, it is BitConnect levels of, blind trust, incompetence, and ignoring obvious public facts.
Right.
Their own, frequently asked section states that EOS Block 1 is a Cayman Islands company, which means that there will be next to no public oversight over what happens to the money raised from the sale of EOS. Now, both Dan Larimer and the EOS FAQ confirms that there was no ICO. It was a token distribution, which was booked as revenue. Now, not financing. Important difference to understand in financial accounting, income statement versus statement of cash flows.
Yeah.
Now, the EOS tokens do not have any rights, uses, purposes, attributes, functionalities, or features. Think about Ripple token. Again, no use, no purpose, or features except for the token rights, to stake a claim except in the vote. So think about regulations coming in now. EOS certainly is a security going by the trend. Today, the SEC said that Ethereum is not a security because it is decentralized. Now, co-founder Brock Pierce has only stepped down in March as PR move after a documentary outed him as running a pedophile sex ring with young boys. Now, fun stuff has already started here, I'm sorry to say, but EOS is kind of, including getting all the wrong news.
Yeah.
Now, if you look there, David, there's an Article 6 of their constitution states that if you breach their extremely open-ended contract, but you are not limited to fines, loss of account, and other restitution. Article 15 of their constitution states after 3 years of inactivity, an account may be put up for auction and the proceeds distributed to all members according to the system contract provisions then in effect for such distribution.
Interesting. Wow, some scary stuff going on. Well, let's move on. What about the new airdrop model? What can you tell us about that?
Well, that is the next, VC mode of funding that is happening, David. In 3 or 4 months, you will see a trend where, crowd sales would be a very, very rare option. You will certainly see, look at these ICOs. Again, this is not investment advice. Do your own research. Elephant.io. That is one, amazing, token that is coming out, which is taking people back into securities market, into the tier A, tier B, where the Davids could not get in. But the point is essentially that the VC mode of funding has now taken over crypto world as well. So very few crowd sales would eventually make it. Now, understand there are a lot of scams out there. There is a lot of, wrong stuff happening out there. And that is why it is important to be very, very careful. Because now this year I will see, rather than the retail frenzy last year, this year you would literally see, look at Polymath. That coin is still doing well. So you will have to make more intelligent moves this year.
Yeah. It's all about being careful, protecting yourself at all times. Wanted to talk about institutional investors. So when is the institutional wave going to hit the cryptos? What do you think?
Very, very soon. As we had talked before, this year, focus on options coming in. CoinDesk just recently started accepting its own institutional, investments. Coinbase has just got approved to get investments for its own institutional fund, and the minimum investments it is taking in is $250,000, going up to 20 million. So they are already raising funds to then, invest in, high end or whatever their investment thesis is in blockchain and digital assets. So Coinbase is going in. Another huge revelation that would be coming out soon, keep an eye on, is, Bitcoin options. Now, CTFC, the community, commodities and futures trade, exchange, has been getting a lot of applications for ETF-related funds and options, and it has not been approving. But now, then, saying that Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, and it is not a security. So the next step now, Ethereum is not a security because decentralized. So very soon an option would be released. Now I cannot give more information, but it has been, the price has been pegged at $200,000. So $200,000 for one option. So think about the next all-time high price. I'll tell you, think about this way, David. Yesterday, we had talked about this in the previous video, that Bitcoin's floor price is right now at $6,000 because that's the mining price of one Bitcoin. The Bitcoin market came down to 6,100, went back to 6,600. Goes back to the same point, the floor price is that. But again, when the CBOE futures expired yesterday, the price was 6,200. Now there is a correlation between 61 and 6,200. The next, in July, it is 6,600. But with this option coming out and the market for 200,000 Bitcoin price would come out, the institutional wave would be coming in because that's targeted. That's an institutional option opening right there. It's just a question of, when, not a question of if. Maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. But this year you will definitely see a 45,000 all-time high Bitcoin.
Okay. You heard it here first, right here on Looking at the Markets, folks. All-time highs coming. Big news on the horizon. You're very bullish, Prasad, on certain tokens. I know you're very selective about the tokens that you make bullish calls on. So can you tell me about which cryptos, which tokens you're bullish on right now?
I'll tell you, David, again, this goes back to calculation. One token that I'm very bullish on, again, this is not investment advice, and never follow one person's advice, but again, this year you have to make some intelligent calculations. This month, ETHOS, ETHOS. ETHOS is one of my favorite picks because I'll tell you, ETHOS has an LLC, and let's just call it the sister concern, ETHOS LLC. And ETHOS LLC has just won an approval from the SEC. Yes, the Securities and Exchange Regulation has given an approval to an LLC to give crypto-related investment advice. Now, in the US, no person, firm can give investment advice in relation to anything that is not regulated.
Right.
And that fund has got it, but that's what they have got approval. They've got registered. I mean, the registration, we can put a link down there and people can take a look at how they have been approved. And the point is that fund would be receiving funding through the EOS wallet. So you see the market, then you're just sitting right at where you are and you see institutional money coming into EOS currency. So I'm very, very bullish on EOS. I'm also very bullish on quantum. Quantum technology has been great. They have been coming out with an interesting solution, but this month, they are going to come out in the, they're going to start that beta phase. Plus, they are going to start their 2 dApps are going to get launched on quantum blockchain. So quantum again, but then that's a trading move. You get out by the 24th, because 28th is the date. But again, this is not investment advice. Take a look at the coin, but very, very interesting times ahead, David. Very interesting times.
Well, I love these specific picks, and yes, you are correct. I'm glad you said that. You and I, we are not registered or licensed investment advisors. Nothing in this video is investment advice. You have to make your own decision, do your own due diligence. However, we've gotten some calls already from you. EOS, quantum technology, and your Bitcoin prediction or outlook. Again, new all-time highs coming soon. But when you get into some of these smaller coins, make sure you get out. Don't just hang in there for the long haul with some of these smaller coins, smaller tokens. You could really get hurt. Wanted to talk about, we talked about manipulation before, cartels having a big impact. What's going on with the cartels lately?
I'll tell you, David, that right now, Bitcoin is regulated by, an algorithm. An algorithm, the math governs Bitcoin. But what comes in with a lot of money and institutional money, and before institutional money is the cartel money. And what happens is price manipulations. Now, what we are seeing right now is the undoing of those manipulations. Now, understand, when we went down to 6,100 and now we are only right now still revving up at that finish line. But we are right now going through one of the biggest bubbles of our lifetime, by a long shot. When the IT bubbles crashed in 2002, that was just limited to, the US market. This is a global phenomenon. I mean, to be fair, this is a bubble and there's a lot of fraud mixed in it. We look at tons of projects and some of them, I admit, they look like Ponzi. There are a lot of frauds, but again, why it would be 40,000 this year, Ethereum, it is at 500 getting close, it could be triple to what we are, because we are going to see wild crashes also. Understand, the volatility is the reason why people are right now thriving and getting into this investment phase. Think about what was going on in Forex exchange in 2002.
It's interesting. You've mentioned so many important things going on. The institutional investors, the cartels getting in even before the institutional investors. So you have to be careful as retail traders and investors. We're competing against the institutions, against the cartels. It's a hard game to win. Whatever you do, get yourself a mentor, get yourself a coach, or invest with a group that does the research, that knows what they're doing. At Pavamaran Capital and Prasad Hora being the founder, you're getting the best guidance. You're getting investment that is researched very heavily, very selective, very careful, not about gambling your money ever. All right, this is in research-based investing at its best. I've got your. Is it okay if I tell people your email address and phone number if they want to contact you?
Yes, I mean the reason we are doing this is because we are fed up by people telling us that this is a fad. Well, enjoy the ride, be patient, and don't invest more than you can afford to lose. No one can time the market perfectly. I'll tell you, especially if you're new to trading, but even if you're an ace. There are massive profits to be made, but understand that this is all about the distributed ledger, and that's just getting stronger.
Yeah.
If you can really kick back, relax through the volatility, adjusting your portfolio monthly. I mean, this isn't a game of months, David. This is a global shift towards a superior technology, man. Yeah. It takes time. It's an absolute circus that's going out there. I mean, it's entertaining more than anything than TV, in my opinion. But again, create strong positions, stay open-minded, and formulate your own opinions based on multiple sources of information. Again, don't follow one person, but you'll be setting yourself up for failure if you don't get into this. Factor in the cost of missed opportunity. Self-empowered critical thinking is enough to get in. You don't need to be a finance guy. You just need to be, you need to understand that you're back into, 500 years ago when banks started. That's it.
Yep. You're making so many great points today. So you gave me permission to give your contact information if people want to contact Prasad and get involved in this blockchain revolution, the decentralized ledger revolution. The email address is info@pavamamron.io. That's going to be right down there below this video in the description, or by phone. It is a United States number. It is 404-578-6634. Again, info@pavamamron.io or 404-578-6634. Prasad is very open to questions and inquiries, whether you believe in the blockchain or maybe you need to learn more about the blockchain and how it's going to change the world. It is changing the world, but how to get in a careful and more secure way. Wow, Prasad, I'm going to put out this video as soon as possible because this is breaking news. Is there anything else that I missed?
Nothing at all, David. I'm just telling you that if everyone wants to know that the parabolic move just takes, 10%, like think of it as 1 minute. And in 1 minute, it is the first 10 seconds where you get the parabolic move. So remember this, after 10 seconds, you think that you're now at 18,000 Bitcoin. Now you're just riding the waves, 18,000 to 23,000, and then suddenly it's going to go down. So 20 to 40 seconds is the sideways, and 40 seconds onwards is when the crash happens. If you miss the first 10 seconds, don't get in the 20 seconds onwards, because then that's risky. All you want to do is wait for the next bubble. And trust me, this is the beginning of the first bubble. Internet 3.0, we are just in 1998 of, that phase. So we have enough time. If you don't get into the first 10 seconds. Please just do that much for yourself.
Wise words. No chasing allowed. Don't get in during the very first 10 seconds of the cycle. If the cycle is 1 minute.
No, if you miss the first 10 seconds, then skip it.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so if you missed that first part of the wave, don't try to chase after that. Wait for the next wave, basically. That makes a lot of sense to me. Great, and I'm not going to call this advice, but great thoughts, great conceptual things. Think about it, folks. Send us an email. Send Prasad an email, info@pavamamron.io. Call him at 404-578-6634 for questions or more information how to get involved. This is Looking at the Markets. I want to see your comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. If you like the blockchain, if you believe in the revolution, give me a thumbs up. And we're going to bring Prasad back here to give us more updates on EOS, institutional investing, cartels, Bitcoin outlook, and what cryptos he's looking at right now. Thank you, Prasad. We're going to talk to you again real soon.
Thanks, David. My pleasure.